Today we share a few ideas for you to enjoy Christmas, even in the time of Corona. Take you on a scenic view of some beautiful artwork on the streets of downtown Kingston and help you to safeguard your home from fire as you celebrate the festive season. So glad you could join us on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
Even though COVID's still a keep, do a nice thing for your peeps. Check out the JIS Christmas catalog and stand out from the crowd. Get an original holiday card or calendar for your clients, suppliers, partners and associates at home and abroad. Send an e-card anywhere. Customized cards are also available. Order your affordable holiday package today. Contact the JIS Research and Publications Department. Call 876-926-359024. 876-552-9006 or 876-551-1214. Email printprodassist@jis.gov.jm or visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, December 23, 2021. 31 bargaining units representing 80% of public sector workers have now agreed to the 4% wage increase for the 2021-2022 fiscal year. Among the latest groups to sign are the Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, the Nurses Association of Jamaica, and the Jamaica Midwives Association, representing a combined 10,000 public sector employees. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says the pace at which these signings are being finalized is indicative of government's commitment to the process and the latitude provided by the country's economic stability.
And we're seeing the dividend of that here, that even in a pandemic, we're able to conclude, 31 bargaining groups represented 80,000 workers within the first 9 months of the year.
President of the NAJ, Patsy Edwards-Henry, says her group is not satisfied with the offer, but is looking beyond and in anticipation of the public sector compensation review.
We are looking for better days. We are looking and hoping that as we sign today, it will signal the beginning of a new year for negotiation. So we're hoping to be called to the table early, and we look forward to what the compensation review will bring.
Similar sentiments were expressed by the other trade unions at Wednesday's wage signing. The United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has lowered Jamaica's COVID-19 travel risk from a level 3 to a level 2 designation. This new classification places the destination in a risk category lower than that of more than 70% of countries worldwide. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says it recognizes the country's efforts to effectively contain the spread of COVID-19, adding that the new classification will undoubtedly positively affect the number of U.S. visitors traveling to the island during the winter tourist season. The minister says the country's health authorities and the Jamaican people must be commended for their efforts to reduce COVID-19 infection and hospitalization rates, which bodes well for our risk assessment rankings. Under the CDC update, which was made yesterday, U.S. citizens should be fully vaccinated before traveling to destinations that have the Level 2 designation. The CDC also suggests that unvaccinated travelers who are at an increased risk of developing severe illnesses from COVID-19 should avoid unnecessary travel to these locations. A Level 3 country, which Jamaica was at previously, is considered to have a high COVID-19 prevalence, and unvaccinated travelers generally are advised to abstain from unnecessary travel to these locations. Jamaica is on track to receive over 1.5 million visitors by the end of 2021. With a strong start to the winter tourist season, tourism officials also anticipate that the country will reach pre-pandemic levels of arrivals by the third quarter of 2023. In the meantime, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is urging Jamaicans to be on alert for the Omicron variant of COVID-19. This as a traveller from the island to the United Kingdom has returned a positive test result for the variant. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says Jamaica was advised of the case through the United Kingdom's international health regulation system. He made the disclosure during the COVID conversation press briefing held on Wednesday.
This is a traveler who came here on a short stay in one of our resort facilities and went back and was confirmed for COVID and confirmed for the Omicron variant. I think it is best from a planning, from a precautionary perspective to conclude that Omicron is here within our population.
As the country prepares for a fourth wave of COVID infections, Dr. Tufton is reiterating that the Omicron variant spreads more easily than the original virus, with an infection rate of 2.5. Persons are urged to obey the COVID safety protocols and get vaccinated. In other news, Chief Justice Brian Sykes is reporting that for this year, 12 of the 13 parish courts achieved international standards with an overall clearance rate of 98.81%. He says that even with the reduction in legal services for 2 quarters of last year, because of the pandemic, the productivity of the parish courts has increased significantly.
A lot of work is being done in those courts, and what makes that particularly impressive is that this is coming out now of the pandemic, and we are still in the pandemic.
The Chief Justice was speaking recently at the handing over of the Manchester Family Court. He revealed that the Manchester Parish Court was forecasted to have a clearance rate of 131.52% by December 31. And finally, male wards at the Metcalfe Street Secure Juvenile Remand Centre in Kingston now have the opportunity to explore and develop their talent in music, following the recent opening of the Black Diamond Music Studio at the facility. The studio was established through collaboration involving the Ministry of National Security, the Department of Correctional Services We Transform Youth Empowerment Program, and the Digicel Foundation. It has been outfitted with the necessary audio recording and mixing equipment. The wards will be exposed to training in music production and engineering, which will enable them to tap into their creativity while gaining marketable skills. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says the studio provides another educational option for those wards who are not interested in the traditional subject offerings.
Music can be one of the greatest factors in not only maintaining unity in our country, but in doing the transforming the behavior of those we consider that are giving trouble in our most volatile communities. This event today at Metcalfe Street tell me that there's a number of people out there who are influenced, who are thinking like that, are beginning to set the stage for the use of music to promote among those of our young males who have had a challenge and give them the opportunity.
We Transform is the ministry's flagship youth program geared at providing children in correctional facilities with the skill sets, character, and support to become productive, exemplary citizens. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
For those of us who do not believe that COVID is real and that it is here, have you been to one of those hospitals where the wards are overflowing with patients who are trying to breathe and talk at the same time, but find it so impossible to do so? Or have you seen someone die in front of you, trying to make the next breath to stay alive? So my fellow Jamaicans and colleagues, whether you believe it or not, COVID is real. So I implore you, social distance, wash your hands, wear your mask, sanitize. Along with that, we need to keep our immune system nice and healthy, so you drink lots of water, eat your fruits and vegetables. But whether we believe it or not, COVID is here, it is here to stay, it's going to be the new norm. And remember, when you behave irresponsible, you expose all of us. So do the responsible thing.
Don't let COVID-19 dampen your Christmas spirit this year. If you're not able to meet up with family or have that special dinner, here are some ways to carefully navigate the social distance rules while maintaining the connection.
Christmas is a time for merriment, and in a lot of ways that means coming together with family and friends just to hold our vibes. But these days, that can be very challenging. COVID's still about, and we still have to observe the precautions like washing our hands, wearing our mask, and of course, keeping our distance. So Mama now come from America this year. Uncle Clive stuck at England, and June over there in Spanish Town can't come to make her special potato salad. This isolation can make us sad and depressed. Our mental health is under pressure, but what can we do to maintain the vibes?
There is a cost mentally and physically for prolonged social isolation. So any way you can help yourself to get connected with others, do so. Or it could be like, one of the things they say is that to spread the virus, bring the celebration maybe from inside the home to outside the home. Have that dinner outside where there's better ventilation. Reduce the numbers that you're invited to the house. Maybe not 20 of your closest family or 30, but maybe 10. And call and get in contact with the rest.
Yes, call up your loved ones. After all, it is the most wonderful time of the year. For those who are lonely, however, it takes greater effort to safeguard their mental health.
The first contributing factor is the belief that it's the most wonderful time in the year. Then why do you feel this way? Because you're supposed to feel wonderful at this time of the year. So those expectations that your mood should be happy and light and you should have all this energy. And when you don't feel that way, a person can feel shame, disappointment, and even more isolated because they're not feeling the same as expected. That can be a definite contributor. And then there are situational factors. If you can't get home because you're traveling, you're an immigrant, you're stationed here, or you're stationed away from home, that can make this time a very difficult time of year for many, many people.
COVID-19 coupled with the strains of the holiday season can make things even harder. You may be asking, what are some things we can do to cope?
Get vaccinated. That's one of the things we can do to cope. That is a mitigating factor to reduce the impact of the other mitigating factors, like the social isolation, the morbidity, or the mortality, the effect of the illness or how severe the illness is. So if you want to take a chance to go and see family and friends, without worrying about, what may happen, that definitely can help reduce the fear of a negative outcome. And what should be a time where you can gather and see your family freely.
Barring that,
you might still have to continue with the mitigating factors, because the fact is COVID is here. And Christmas, the virus doesn't respect Christmas. We've lived through our phones more in the past 2 years than we ever have. Online has been maybe the bane and yet the savior at the same time. And using it just as if we've done for the last 364 days of the year, use it for Christmas. But what you need to do, remove the guilt and the sense of disappointment about using it during this season. It doesn't mean you have failed, it doesn't mean it isn't as good, because you have to call or Zoom chat a loved one when you wish you were there in person. You might be helping them, you might be saving their life and saving your own.
You've heard the expert. Reach out and connect virtually this Christmas. Spend time, cook, share meal ideas, reminisce about old times, teach the children old ring games or folk songs, dance and spread the joy and laughter. Open your gifts and let Grandma see you rocking that sweater she sent you. There are so many ways to make the holidays memorable and happy. And guess what? If you don't feel like cooking, Order through one of our many food delivery services and pull out your pretty tablecloth, special plates, and fancy glasses. Maybe June can send you that potato salad from Spanish Town after all. Stay safe, stay connected, and thrive. Happy holidays!
Up next, bright colors of masterpieces that have transformed the streets of downtown Kingston into a cultural site.
After getting your fresh produce at the Coronation Market, make your way through the busy and bustling streets of downtown Kingston to the edge of the 7th largest natural harbor in the world. What you'll find is an art haven of bright, beautiful, breathtaking murals. Welcome to the Arts Page. You're in for a visual treat. Art has the power to revive, and through this, the once abandoned-looking buildings in downtown Kingston now don freshly painted murals, transforming the area into an artistic hub abuzz with admirers.
My mural depicts a representation of children in the inner city or from the inner city, from inner city communities that face challenging circumstances such as poverty, single parenting, and this shrunken ability to make positive decisions or choices. With that, the mural also depicts through the use of bright colors and the use of playful organic shapes and lines. It depicts this sense of hope and possibilities for change.
My mural is the big green mural with the women and the mushrooms. It's really about sexual coercion and sexual harassment and how these incidents can have long-lasting effects on women as they go through their lives. I kind of show that the idea with the mushrooms and how the mushrooms growing from them are like a parasite and how these issues can affect them.
Ubuntu, I am because we are. This is what I chose to depict for my new mural for Water Lane, and it really just shows the contrast and complement of Jamaica and Africa. So this mural, I wanted to show the difference just between, I guess, our mindset of how we see ourselves and who we were really called to be. So it shows your man and woman, which is your king and your queen, and then also a woman with the baby at her breast, epitomizing just the strength of a woman, and with the basket on her head, a bucket or basket of water. So water is life, woman being the life giver. But it shows even more, the great blue mountains, quote unquote, that's Jamaica, the highest peak. It goes further up, the giraffe, which most people know by now is my spirit animal, but it's also a gentle giant.
What we're trying to do is to remove that stigma and help us to see the beauty of downtown. Downtown Kingston is very, very special. It has a lot of assets through its heritage, its history.
Transforming and rebranding downtown Kingston is the mission of Kingston Creative, a nonprofit arts organization.
We're founded in about 2017, and we're really centered around creative people. So our theory is that if you can empower the amount of creative people we have in Jamaica and enable them to succeed, they will then in turn employ people from their families, their communities, and together we'll get, growth in our creative economy. We'll have a healthy creative ecosystem.
You can take a stroll down Water Lane to fully experience, grasp, and get lost in the stories on the wall.
So we've partnered with the KSAC and with the Tourism Enhancement Fund and the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. And we're developing this walkway that goes east-west. It connects our National Gallery on Orange Street, and then you walk along Water Lane and it connects you back with our museums that are on East Street. So it's a natural progression. We used to just walk up and down this lane as we're going on our art walk. And then we started talking to the owners and creating these murals. And now we have about 65 new murals in downtown that we've created since 2018.
Artists and other creatives can also benefit from a creative hub and other initiatives. This includes the recently concluded Catapult program, an emergency grant for creatives.
It allowed creatives to go on an artist residency for 2 months and they were paid $3,000 US. It allowed them to put their work online and they're paid $500 US. It really was a process of giving creatives grants so they could continue creating during the pandemic. We reached over 1,210 creatives in 26 different countries across the region with this partnership with the American Friends of Jamaica. It was our biggest grant to date. We've just signed a $1.295 million US partnership with the IDB. This is a 3-year partnership to explore what happens at the intersection of creativity and technology.
Kingston Creatives is also a new member of the Global Cultural Districts Network and is listed among others such as Paris, London, and Dubai. Thanks to the efforts and partnership of Kingston Creative, downtown Kingston is well on its way to become a vibrant art district and a space for people to really enjoy our rich culture.
Overloading your electrical sockets and falling asleep while cooking are two of the more common causes of house fires. We share some others in this next feature and hope that we all will take heed.
Fire! Fire! My bed, my clothes.
Same script, different day. What's worse, sometimes a human being, even a child, dies in these unfortunate situations. The loss of lives and valuables as a result of fires is impacting those who remain behind. The mental effort to get up from the ashes. Taxpayers too are being burnt as more dollars are being shelled out for fire emergency operations. Homeowners must implement fire safety plans.
It's important for us to fireproof our homes because we have our families and we normally have strict guidelines as to how you operate within the home, how you store your chemicals as it relates to your kitchen, how you manage your heat sources, how you handle your plugs. So the safety measures that you take as it relates to the protection of your children.
Here are a few situations you must avoid to prevent losing your home to fire. Finally home from a tired day at work. The first thing many people do is get something to eat. Now, this is when a fire safety sin is usually committed, having a cigarette while tired or the stove is left on. What else at home are you not doing safely? Like this, using a computer or mobile phone on the bed. So they should not be used on flammable surfaces such as beds or sofas.
Leaving your cell phones on your bed can trigger the ignition temperatures of that spread or sheet and can actually cause a flame. So we encourage you not to leave your cell phones unattended. It's an active source of heat, and worse when it is charging. It has caused many house fires based on our statistics.
Between 2010 and so far in 2019, 100 children were burnt to death. One of the main causes of these deadly fires, a child left unattended with burning candles.
Based on investigation from fires, we find that most of the times it's because we leave our children unattended, right? So we leave them with the matches, we leave them with the candles, we leave them with the lighters, and we leave them with maybe a laptop or an iPod, something to keep their attention, but they are fascinated by a flame.
Here are some other factors found by the brigade to be the major causes of fires within the home. Clothes put to dry at the back of the refrigerator, storing plastics on cooking gas cylinders.
We identify this as a fire hazard because if you notice, it is pretty much close to the source of heat, which would have been the stove itself. All right, so we can have a spark from this. The Jamaica Fire Brigade encourages that cylinders over 30 pounds should be stored outside. So here we have two heat sources, a microwave and a toaster oven. All right, plus there is a charger plugged directly between both sources of heat. What we encourage is that there should be sufficient space to allow for air to pass through. In the bathrooms, the heat sources, for example, your blow dryer, you leave those on running while you do other stuff, while you wash your face, something. But leaving them near your towels and your other materials that can burn, your clothes, that can spark flames.
As for power strips, they should not be overloaded.
So we also encourage that if you're using extension cords, do not run them behind furniture, do not run them under the carpet, because the constant pressure on the cords themselves will cause breakage. Again, if it is near a combustible material, it can cause a fire.
It is crucial that these fire safety measures are adhered to. Every home should have a fire safety plan that is known by each member of the household. Lastly, but very important, keep the numbers of the nearest fire station saved in your telephone contacts.
The general public can make a request for us to come inside the homes, check where you should have a smoke detector, check where an extinguisher should be, because you should have these in your homes as well.
Do not leave valuables such as gifts, laptops, and cell phones in plain view in your car. If you have to leave these items in the vehicle, put them in the trunk. This will decrease the likelihood of a car break-in.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.